retrace this here. So this part, you can kind of see the circle that I had underneath this initial selection. There's the center line for it. And the eye line, having it come up and across there. So that's where these are going to rest, the bottom of the eyes. And you can kind of see they're tapered a little bit. So I'm just going to adjust this one just slightly. So they're tapered up and in, kind of gives a little more emotion to the character. But again, the nose, the cheeks, everything that you see, there's two circles now for this nose. Again, showing two circles with a cross part, making the nose come off of that with the center line. And the underneath part of that is also allowing it to be this kind of the smile of the character. So just kind of adding a little bit of the lip section in there on the lower side. And then also a spot for the chin. Again, keeping this circular so you end up with a nice curved section. And we're going to ink this, so just kind of setting it up for that process here. So there's the eyes. Now again, putting in a little bit of a highlight. You can even put the iris into this section. The eyebrow is, again, an echo, or the distance between here and the eye. And on the other side of it as well. So you're going to get this character coming across. The ears, you're just seeing one side of it, the foreground one. You can't really see where it attaches, but it's right along this edge. And if you think of the cross contour building up this section, and hopefully giving you the shape that it's looking for. And then they give a larger circle for this cheek on either side, where you can kind of see most of it, kind of get it laid out there. And then the shape for the body, again, the circular forms for the chest, and these hips, kind of connecting them at a tangent to make that overall kind of a pear shape, or a bean shape like that. And then this is where you're seeing the skeletal structure, the crossover with these corners for the elbows, dots in here for the hips, builds that section off, and then it comes straight out and straight across. And same with the foot. Again, everything built up off of circular shapes is going to help you with the actual drawing for it. Same with the arms coming down, building up the surface on the outside, plus the circular part for the hands, 3 fingers they're using again. And just lightly sketching it in, trying to find all of the pieces that are there. So everything comes in. The tail is the part of the gesture and the line of action. So going back here with the spine coming around, builds that piece up. So you have this light sketch all the way through. See if that's going to focus there for you. And then taking the eraser, the kneaded eraser that you have, just stretching it out, making it pliable. Kneading is not kneading an eraser, as we said, but just making it a pliable piece. Keep it somewhat cylindrical, like so. And just roll this over the drawing. It'll pick up some of the graphite, just so you can see the drawing a little better with the ink. So for example, it's just rolling it back and forth. You can see the difference between these two, top and bottom. And a lot of the preliminary sketch that you see you'll still have, but you'll lose it in a little bit based off of these lines. So taking your marking pen that you have, so still thinking the thin and thick stroke. This is just a Sharpie that has a thin and thick piece to it. And kind of going, if you're just getting warmed up to it, take a larger piece. So for something like the ear, just kind of turning it so that you're getting a nice curve, and turn the drawing if you need to in order to better position yourself to make that shape. And the first line doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the standard line, just kind of getting you started. Coming around. Or you be kind of loose with it if you want. Building that selection. And again, just move it so you can get the best sketch in there. If it's going to be a solid line or a thin and thick lines. Right now just a thin. And they're just going in on the eye, so it's going to be a thin at the top. And stretching itself down as it comes through here for the pupil. A little bit of a highlight. And even if I offset it, gives me enough room and also a shape to do a little reflected light in there, and I can just simply place that in there. So it makes it a little bit easier. If it has the eyelashes, just let them stem right from there. And again, the shape coming across for the eyebrow. So it makes it a little easier to see what you're up against here. I'm not pushing that hard, just letting the marker do most of it. Just guiding it along. A little thickness here. Taking a look at the other eye again, wrapping itself around. Doing the same idea with the eyebrow and the cheek coming around. And this gives a little bit of a connection up on the top of the eye, and then coming down here with the mouth. And then this part here. Like I said, move the drawing so you can get a nice, smooth transition on the stroke. So there's that initial character. Still go back in with some heavier lines, but just want to carry through the drawing first. There's the thick line for it. And again, you're looking at the drawing, kind of gives you a lot of help. Building this section in here. And again, just kind of like you're picking out the best line that you have of all the drawing there. So again, even though it's just the first section of the line you're doing, it's going to have an opportunity to add a thicker line on the base, and it'll make it nice contrast there for your drawing. So for example, this section showing the tail, just let it be one stroke coming out. And it connects it very easily. So just a couple segments there. So you have mostly the drawing, just one thickness, just kind of using that point. And the next step, just kind of going in a little bit heavier. And heavying up that line. And going in the bottom of this one. So it makes it for that piece. So you can kind of see it's just giving you a little bit more of a double edge, so to speak, right here. Going on the bottom part of this one. Not really doing any hatch lines or posterized or anything like that, just trying to get a thickness to that section. Come down to the foot section. And again, move your hand around to get the right movement for it. And you can put a piece of paper down if you need to, just to keep from putting your hand in your drawing. But it does give you this option and this overlap. This one here just kind of a little dark line. Just building that piece up. So once you take a look at it, you can see where again you can still get some texture in that same line. For it. And again, having a little bit of a razor point type marker. Gives a little bit of texture there. Doesn't have to have that, that's just the razor line for it. You can still come in here and build that section up there. And then again, the difficult part is you need to erase the pencil. The only bad part is that it's kind of helping the drawing. Just taking the kneaded eraser, just kind of taking some of that off. I'll just take a little to show you, because it eliminates the pencil, and the pencil kind of helps it a little bit, and then you're relying just solely on the black and white, so you have to enhance your drawing from there. But there you go. So that's the linear part.